It's elimination week here at Hearthstone Global Games, the last week of the Swiss, and we are going to get on with yet another very important match. The losers go home, the winners go through, and with me, I think for the first time in this particular event, is Mr. Brown himself.
That's right, the boys are most assuredly back in town. Neil and Derek, like the good old days, dare I say.
Of several weeks ago.
Yeah, very recently, but it's nice to be casting with you again.
It's going to be a good one, and we can tell you now that if Bulgaria lose, they are out, despite the fact they are 4-1. Let's have a look at the players that make up these teams. And as you see there, the Czech Republic needs no introduction at all. But Derek, what do you make of the Czech Republic? Introduce them.
Well, it's a little bit different to the team that won last year, obviously with, I believe, Czech Cloud and primarily Stan Sivka as well, leaving the team, but they are still looking to be in such a good spot to be taking down the global games. Yet again, they've picked up some very strong players this year as well, particularly, I think, in Faeli, who's been doing some really strong work this year.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic year. On the other side, Django's been keeping the team together, but Best Studio, EU and Silent Storm, in particular, known characters from the European scene. And they've got to this unfortunate situation where they are 4-1, but their tiebreakers are absolutely awful. And so if they lose, they will go out. And whatever happens, Belgium are through now. Canada are out even if they win, but they still have money to play for. There's more money for winning 4 than winning 3.
Right.
But this is one of the best games of the day in terms of the excitement. Can the champions stay in it, or can Bulgaria just show everybody what they're made of?
I think they're in with a good shot. Like you said, Django was not too... he was a little bit absent last week in terms of their preparation, I think it's fair to say. He has himself admitted because he was preparing for playoffs, which happened last weekend, the EU playoffs. However, this week he should maybe be a little bit more, I don't know, available. To help
Let's
with
see
the
what he's
preparation.
been available to ban and pick in this match. And there we go. The Druids are out of the equation. No tog-woggle shenanigans for this one. Actually, it was token on both sides.
Yeah, what do you know? Kel Surprise Druids being banned. It's somewhat interesting given that they were both token Druids. We've seen that a lot more recently, I think it's fair to say. A lot of token Druids at playoffs over the weekend and on ladder as well, which has even prompted some streamers. I think Zalay has been playing Quest Warrior just because he gets to put Warpath in a deck, which just solo destroys these token Druids.
Yeah, and it's interesting how the meta... Okay, so the meta hasn't gone completely nuts. It's not loads and loads of new decks and exciting stuff, but the meta is very subtly evolving around, like you say, hey, I want to play Warpath, therefore I don't want to play Odd Warrior. And so the token Druids will eventually die out and it will go back into the next cycle of, you're playing Warpath?
Yeah.
How are you going to deal with my 7/7s or whatever happens next?
That's right. And we're still seeing people admit the power of Malagos and Togwaggle variants. I think we saw Zamos taking another rank 1 finish over this month with Malagos Druid. I could be mistaken, but a very strong finish, and a lot of players have been having success with that. But none of that nonsense here in this particular match. Both Druids out of the way, which leaves Watt in a good position. I'm imagining Quest Rogue will be in a pretty good spot because this is two
sounds good.
Not extremely aggressive lineups. Because this, again, it's the global games. You can only go aggressive with so many of your decks. If you're playing Murloc Priest, you can kind of just get out of this game.
Let's have a look at how this matches up. We're going to start off with a good old-fashioned odd paladin mirror. They're always interesting. Well, they're fun to watch. About interesting, you try and kill the other guy's stuff. Then we have Zoo versus Shudderwock, Shudderwock versus Zoo. I don't think there can be any complaints about the matchups in this one.
Yeah.
The first are absolutely mirrored. And then we do diverge a bit with Priest on the side of Bulgaria being Mind Blast against that Quest Rogue we were talking about. And then we have Face Mage versus Inner Fire Priest, a matchup you don't get to see every day.
Yeah, and it does just make this entire series very even, I would say, because like you said, first 3 should just kind of cancel each other out. Whoever can win the odd paladin mirror will be in a very good spot. But then on the one side, Mind Blast Priest versus Quest Rogue means the Quest Rogue for Czech Republic should be able to take a victory, I'd say. It's against a control deck, therefore it's in a good spot. But then on the other side, for Bulgaria, they have Aggro Mage up against the Inner Fire Priest, which I would say is a good matchup for the Mage, because Mind Blast Priest, Inner Fire Priest is an anti-control deck, not an anti-aggro deck.
So game number 1 is a paladin mirror. Could that be the thing that swings who goes through to the top 16?
It's very possible. It's obviously not going to be the only decider, because if any mistakes are being made on either side in some fairly difficult matchups, then it could swing the way this match will be going. But I would say both players are going to have to be on their absolute A game for this odd paladin mirror.
So with that in mind, you're saying mistakes may make a difference. The Czech Republic, experience, they know each other very well. Bulgaria, not so much. They're a very good team, but not quite in the same league as the Czech Republic players. Do you think that gives the Czechs just a slight edge?
Definitely. In a series where it's all on the line here for the Bulgarians, they are going to be making sure that their communication issues, I think in particular, are taken care of, because that has been a bit of an issue for them, I would say, in the Hearthstone Global games, where there have been too many different opinions clogging up the airwaves to the point where we've seen them rope a couple times, burn out before they can actually execute their play, which, if they just miss one move in such a volatile matchup as the odd Paladin mirror, it could just push them out of the game.
Not going to bore everybody with Fairley's achievements. You alluded to his good year, but he has been in basically contention for, let's say, everything this year, including the Wild event. He also has the advantage in this game of not having the coin, which I think is often overlooked in how important that is in this Paladin mirror.
And they've both got a pretty nice hand to be moving forwards with. Fairley, like you said, very happy that he's on the play rather than on the coin, because he can get his Glowtron down first, a 1-3 stat line. Perfectly good, just replaces the Diamol. It's exactly the same pretty much as Diamol, with just a very slight upside that you can stick a magnetic buff on it, which, as we can see here, maybe will actually be relevant. You'd probably rather have two 1-3s, I'd say, than a 2-6. But either way, Czech Republic, they're going wide on the board right at the start.
Bit of a Lorinda cliche, but this really is about who can get the most things on the board.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the more things you have, the better your raid leaders, and eventually your opponent runs out of things, and then you start hitting them. There'll be very little face damage in the first, goodness knows how many turns here, and then suddenly one team will just do 20 damage in 2 turns.
Oh no, Lorinda, we need no clarification. More things means you have more things. That's just good enough. I'm satisfied in terms of analysis right there.
Job done.
Yeah.
I am, after all, sat in the other chair on this occasion.
That's true. You just get to ask me questions and then sneer at me from across the table when I act a fool.
So what's your favourite colour?
Do you want a serious answer, or are you doing a bit here?
I just don't care.
Well, Lorinda, green's my favourite colour.
Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't doing that particular bit, but thank you for setting it up anyway. I promised I wouldn't do that anymore. I'm more creative than that. So keeping the coin, obviously, really important when you use the coin in this matchup. First of all,
yes.
you don't want it, but secondly, if you can use it effectively, maybe to swing it around going into that turn 5, the Fungal Man to the level up turn, maybe you can swing around the odds.
Yeah, that is where Odd Paladin really starts to ramp up, and it's why a lot of players are not all too fond of Odd Paladin at the moment. Is, like you said, in the early turns, they don't do that much damage. Some people even calling it unfavoured versus Quest Rogue, or maybe not unfavoured, at the very least, not consistently.
I'm in the unfavoured camp, having watched that show match. I just didn't believe it. I forced myself to watch it on VOD because I'm like, this just sounds silly. Of course Paladin destroys Quest Rogue, and actually, having watched the match, I don't think they drew particularly ridiculously well. They won 6-2 with the Quest Rogue. Wasn't even close.
I didn't even know they'd done the show match yet. I saw it was happening on Twitter, but must have missed
they won
that one.
6-2. It was good players as well, like really good. It's Fino and Psycho versus Green Sheep and Vardu.
Oh.
So it's not like it was me playing you. You
said good players, I didn't. Green Sheep in there.
Aggro deck, Green Sheep, Paladin, we'll take him.
Fair enough, fair enough. I'm obviously.
And he's from the United Kingdom.
James. Yeah, well, that's the joke. I'm saying he's rubbish because he's from the United Kingdom.
I mean, that is a thing.
It was obviously a joke. Jimmy the Sheep, we love him on our aggro decks. We do.
I'm going to grass you up. Right, again, putting on the pressure minion-wise, and obviously Bulgaria will be just trying to hold on to this coin, but at some point they're going to have to use it.
Yeah. Like, going for it now is definitely worth considering, because Firefly obviously trades pretty nicely up against a bunch of 1-1s, just able to swing that board back in your favour. Even to the point where they're thinking of going double Firefly, foregoing the hero power on this turn. I think, however, in this matchup, you are running into a pretty real threat, actually, of just running out of value. Being unable to fight back on board because you have not pressed your hero power enough, whereas in the later stages of the game, they just keep hero powering, and overwhelm you with value.
Yeah, it's weird, but this is like making 4 1-1s. It's not, as you can see, because Raid Leader tidies things up.
It's a rough but an understandable comparison.
Yeah, and it's all about, if you haven't got a Vine Cleaver, the value goes out the window. If one of you gets it, one of you doesn't. You get to turn 7, suddenly one of you just... If you're even close to level, the Vine Cleaver will swing it around. As you can see, though, the game's going to go on as normal for now, because nobody's managed to draw that, which is definitely an oversight.
So what would have happened for best Udyr EU if he had just gone Hero Power, or even Hero Power Coin into Firefly? He would have been able to go, well, on the following turn he would have been able to go Flame Elemental Hero Power, which is a very nice turn, which he can no longer do. And his next turn is actually looking pretty rough. I guess Raid Leader is the best he can do next turn.
What he has done, though, is try to convince Fairley to play Raid Leader himself, which is only making one thing. So by having 1/2s there, actually made it kind of difficult for Fairley to make the trades, and the 1/2s are going to survive, which means they are going to get a good deal, because now they take out 2 of the opposing 1/1s, and now he can set about making his own, as I look at that amazing pickup, making his own 1/1s.
Yeah. Now we are starting to really see how dire that maul is. Not a dire mole, a dire maul for best Udyr EU in the Sacred Maul, which I believe is the Taunt one, which is pretty unanimously agreed upon as the worst one the vast majority of the time. You want extra stuff on board, like you said, plus attack, Divine Shield, or extra guys even, all significantly better than just taunting up your board, which does nothing to advance your board state.
Yeah, when your opponent, all they want to do is hit your minions anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, here's my minions, please hit them, is just not the best ability to have.
If it gave your face taunt, would you consider
That'd be
playing
fantastic.
then?
That would actually be really good.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Because then your minions would survive and you just get to make all the trades you like.
Yeah.
They should make that card. I mean, we had a
Probably
brawl
a
with it
reason
one time.
why they
Pretty
yeah,
sure.
I mean, they've done a lot of stuff in Brawl that I would not recommend them printing into Hearthstone.
Champions Brawl, you've got me at it now. Champions Maul is actually one of the better ones. It's
Yes, yeah.
sneaky good in this match. And they can make 4 things.
And they are obviously going to be trying to convince their opponent that they have either Level Up or Thunglemancer going into turn 5, because again, that is the best thing you can do on turn 5. But they've got a decent runner-up prize of going Raid Leader on turn 5 with a Hero Power if they wanted to.
One of the downsides of what Bulgaria did on turn 2, it's been an upside, those minions are still hanging around. One of the downsides is their level up. Is not going to do anything, but you tend to want to play that after Vine Cleave. I think you have to have some faith in your deck that you're going to get a bit fortuitous and pick it up.
They did just miss a hero, so they're saving a coin here, which means they want to go coin 5-drop, which is very understandable. We were both agreeing that's when you want to use the coin in this matchup, right? Because you go 5-drop into 5-drop, which are the power turns. But it does mean he's floated a mana here where he could have gone Firefly Hero Power, or Firefly Coin Hero Power into Flame Elemental Hero Power on this turn 3 where he floated a mana. And it does now mean he can't even go Coin Thunglemancer or Coin Level Up because neither of them really do anything.
Yeah, it's all very well having the coin ability if you're going to do something with it.
It's just worked out pretty badly actually for Udyr here.
Must stress that being on the coin in this matchup is remarkably hard work. You have got to sort of push your luck a little bit, and that's what he's doing. So 0 mana Corridor Creeper available. Coin available in the most useless situation.
Yeah, it allows you to go Weapon Hero Power, I guess, on this turn with a Corridor Creeper as well. Because he needs to go for a Thunglemancer or a Level Up next turn, right? Coin is decent here because it lets you fit in a Hero Power. Coin gets a lot worse from here on in. I really like going for it here.
Yeah, it looks good to me. And also they've got their nose in front in the resource battle now because of Fairley's fairly poor draws. Leroy not particularly useful. Blood Knight, sorry, your tech card. Don't like tech cards in mirrors. Raid Leader pretty good, but...
It's not bad, but this is where you kind of wish you had the boy himself, the Boisterous Bard.
The Boisterous Bard.
Exactly.
We're going there, okay. As long as I know where we're going.
It's like they're just... Hearthstone is just begging me to make memes at this point. And it's not even spelled B-O-Y, it's spelled B-O-I. It's spelled the meme way.
Everybody's begging you to make memes. I see it on Twitter all the time. Even Muzzy begs you to make memes now.
He does. The one I made last night I was quite proud of.
I haven't seen that yet, actually.
It was hilarious.
Check out Darek's Twitter for latest memes.
Yeah, rate my meme on Darek's Twitter. I built it up now. It's going to be rubbish. They're not going to like it.
Yeah, but they're going to follow you anyway.
Got him, suckers.
So it doesn't matter.
But for Czech Republic, even though this Raid Leader is not looking all too good on this turn because the health buff, the attack buff doesn't really make too much difference against these 1/1s, being able to trade off the Corridor Creeper more favorably is obviously helpful. And I mean, what else is he going to do? Just play Blood Knight and then his opponent maybe plays a Giggling Inventor, and then you just cry while your opponent giggles.
I cry a lot. Fungalmancer is going to be able to get things to work.
That felt like a rare moment of weakness from you, Lorinda.
I don't have moments of weakness, except when I cry.
I have a moment where sweat leaves to my eyeballs.
That's usually when people forget to put the aircon on in the studio.
Oh, that's absolutely vile, Lorinda.
Fungalmancer is looking good in conjunction with this weapon.
So we could see Fungalmancer and then weapons take out the Raid Leader, take a couple value trades to deny a level up from your opponent. Seems all right to me. Alternatives being Raid Leader hero power on this turn, which does let you fit in another hero power, and you get to sacrifice. Oh, sorry, you get to kill off both of the. You get to kill off more stuff on this turn, actually. Oh no, same amount of stuff, but you lose the value trades.
And they're going to go with that.
It's just fitting in those hero powers, right? It's getting the value as much as you can here, because the game is starting to slow down a little bit. Neither player has done much damage at all, because neither player's hit level up or Fungalmancer on curve. So Best Leader EU here clearly wants to keep going for that hero power, and because there's no ability to clear off the Raid Leader represented on board, I think this is actually a really nice play.
I do agree, although this Fungalmancer pickup for Fairley is just in the nick of time, goes really nice with his Lost in the Jungle to try to fight for the board. They are running out of things they can do. Blood Knight Lost in the Jungle make dudes is a possibility.
Yeah, and that's the key point that you're saying there, is that they're running out of stuff to do. Leroy is very, very bad at the moment. So it's not a card that you have to pretend isn't there, but they do not want to play that card unless they absolutely have to. So therefore they want to press that button as much as they can. The dude button is priority number 1, but maybe priority number 0 is killing off the Raid Leader.
Yeah, they're starting to lose the board and they don't know what's in the opponent's hand. Obviously, that's how the game works. And also worth pointing out that in Bulgaria's hand, this Sacred Maul is still a weapon, and as teams run out of resources, that is
it's a thing.
It's something that might now they've weathered the early storm, become less bad.
So then on this turn, what are you thinking? Blessing of Might to take out the 3/3 on one of your 1/1s, Sacred Maul hero power? You're still very much ahead on board then.
That seems good, and you're aware that your opponents are struggling to do stuff.
Yeah, and you lead very nicely into hero power Fungalmancer, or if you've got a lot of 1/1s thinking about hero power level up, looks especially juicy.
I like the Blessing of Might idea here because it just doesn't have a purpose in this matchup right now.
You want to leverage it for board control, not damage to face.
They're going to be terrified the left-hand card for Fairley is this Vine Cleaver.
That's true.
See it's
That's
Leroy,
true.
They won't be happy with this at all right now.
And so they're clearly thinking, because we know we don't have Vine Cleaver and our opponents very possibly do, they need to play to their advantages, which is playing quicker. It's closing out the game as fast as they can by going for a huge level up. So I guess just pressing hero power every turn is really their only choice.
And they have turned this around. They've turned the coin disadvantage around by holding on. But it's still, for me, whoever picks up the first Vine Cleaver.
That would help.
But if it's nothing, if neither of them do, I think Bulgaria are starting to nose in front here. Especially now, that's an awful draw.
But no level up for Fairley. Like, even if he does get a Vine Cleaver, I'm not saying it wouldn't be incredibly good, because it would be. If Bulgaria managed to hit 3, maybe 4 minions with a level up, that's insane.
And next turn, it's not going to happen because one will get traded away, but they are getting to the point where they can get 4 minions.
Yeah.
And Fungalmancer will get something done?
What does Czech Republic even do? Do they hero power pass? They just have to play Blood Knight.
Have to play Blood Knight. It's actually an awkward shape. If your opponents don't have level up or Fungalmancer, then actually the 3/3 is annoying.
I guess they can just go weapon and here and dude into it though.
But the Dire Maul is actually now operating quite well. It's an unremovable minion for 2 turns.
You cannot call a weapon an unremovable minion for 2 turns. That's a pretty bad analogy there, I'd say.
It's fine. How would you remove it in this deck? You wouldn't. There, if I'm right. Got you.
Damn it! You got me 100% of the time.
Tricked him.
Thoroughly bamboozled.
However, they did decide to hold on to the Blood Knight, which we both thought maybe they would drop down. Maybe they feel it's their only way out to deal with later stuff. But that's going to allow this Fungalmancer, in conjunction with a weapon again, to really take control of this game.
Yep, this is just where it starts to get locked down for Udyr, because even if there was a Vine Cleaver off the top, as you've mentioned so many times, it would do what exactly? There would still be 4 1/1s able to be buffed by level up on the following turn. The game just closes out so quickly there. And because there are, again, the biggest weakness of Odd Paladin, no removal tools, no AoE tools in this deck, once you're behind, you are behind. That's it.
There we go. I'm so thankful I've missed your analysis, but they have held on to this Blood Knight and managed to make up a big minion.
Yes.
But great, well done.
Congratulations.
You win the Big Minion of the Day award.
It's a thing. It's a thing. And as we keep saying, things are things in this matchup. But I'm not sure if it's enough of a thing.
Argent Squire, potentially a great pickup here just for an extra thing on the board. But Argent Squire Hero Power level up leaps out off the screen at us as being pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at any reason why you wouldn't go for that. Like Leroy to take out the 6/6, but I mean, why? You just want to go nice and wide. I suppose you want to clear up minions so they can't go for a level up of their own. Off the top is your only real consideration, but level up allows you to value trade very beautifully.
Czech Republic are playing 2 Blood Knights. That's a reason not to play the Argent Squire if you're scared that you're so far in front you don't want to give them another 6/6. That's all I can think of here. Probably worth worrying about, actually, because you're so far in front. They've got their own Leroy to deal with a 6/6. That's how far in front they are now. They don't even need to.
Czech Republic, I mean, obviously not running mind control tech, but I'm just thinking of any cards that Bulgaria might be considering playing around.
Or something I don't even know anymore. It costs odd amounts.
And again, obviously, it is open decklist format here at the Hearthstone Global Games, so no sneakery that Czech Republic can pull off to try and pull this back from Bulgaria.
I think that's 23 next turn.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to close it out. You can go Leroy Jenkins for 0 downside, other than the fact that you've just played a 5-mana Fireball.
Well, 4-mana Fireball is really good.
4-mana Fireball is really good. It's not good enough to be played in a control deck, but...
And everyone has a golden one, so maybe it's just the same as Leroy Jenkins, and it's golden, so it costs 1 less mana.
Wow.
Yeah.
Please don't use Twitch chat copy-paste on me during a caster and
Would I do that? Lol. Lol's not exactly a copy-paste, but it's a word.
I mean, I guess it is. I guess lol is a copy-paster, technically.
Just a slow
it's just a very short one. Yeah.
And Udir's pretty happy about all this. He's shaking his head in a happy way, and they're winning this vital game number 1. I know it doesn't sound particularly vital, but just looking down how mirrored this matchup is for the rest of the game, they are in a great spot.
Yeah, it is absolutely vital. It's the fact that the entire rest of the series is so mirrored, given there's Shudderwock versus Zoo on one side, and then flipped about Shudderwock versus Zoo on the other side. And then for the final 2 matches, favourables on either side. Bulgaria, by winning this game, should have put themselves in a tremendous position, because even though they haven't won yet...
Yeah, the Leroy's just stopped the actual winneroo.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, I think this is just lethal damage right now for Bulgaria. A very... a pretty well played game, I would say. I do maybe question the one turn they made on turn 2, as far back as it was, where they went for double Firefly instead of Firefly Coin Hero Power, or just Hero Power, because obviously you need to play quickly in this matchup, lock down board as quick as you possibly can. But the fact that they saved the coin for a turn 5 play, which they then could not do in that matchup, they were only really bailed out by the pickup of Champion Small, which could very well have just not come.
Well, they're 1-0 ahead in this qualification match, and we're just going to take a short break while we get game number 2 set up, so see you soon. We've done a lot of matches in the last 6 weeks. I think most of the people walk around here singing that tune now, especially Daruk.
It's completely ingrained in my head. Even at playoffs recently, Throwdown was just walking around everywhere. Everywhere.
But serious business is that the Czech Republic, the reigning champions, and Bulgaria, who feel they have a point to prove, I think, being 4-1 and paired down, fighting it out for one of those top 16 spots, and Bulgaria taking down that important game 1, that mirror match that could decide the entire game.
Yeah, so crucial taking that first victory, and like you said, a win and in, lose and you're home. And now for Bulgaria, I think they're probably in a pretty happy spot, especially as they've taken that first game, and they got their star player piloting the next match, because even though all players in the global games are communicating with the rest of their teammates, whether they're in the same location or not. We have seen some issues with players piloting the matchups incorrectly, where they burn out at the end, they lose time on the rope, or maybe because they're in charge, they make executive decisions that don't go quite correctly. But for Django, being the only player, I believe, from Bulgaria to go through to the EU playoffs over the weekend, undeniably the captain or the star player of the team. So.
And he's taken that on board as well. He's constantly been in touch with various questions about the event, about the tiebreakers. So he's made sure that he is doing a proper captain's job, making sure that he knows exactly where everything is at all times. If he has an issue, he's the one who's raising it, that sort of thing. And that gives the rest of the team the chance to just sit tight and do their thing without having to worry about all the other stuff that captains have to worry about.
Yeah, he's been keel hauling, on sailors who won't work. He's been pulling up the rigging, making the opposing team walk the plank. Captain stuff.
Yeah, and if he loses today, he's going to go down with the ship.
Nice. But it's not looking like that's going to happen again. They are in a very good spot, as the rest of this series is pretty mirrored in terms of matchup. Up now, we've got Zoo Warlock versus Shadowwalk Shaman, which we are, I believe, just about to jump into. And then the match after that is another Zoo versus Shadowwalk Shaman, but flipped around the other way in terms of which team is playing which deck. And then the final two games, I believe, are just one favourable and one unfavourable for each team.
Yeah, we're sometimes as casters a little bit guilty of saying, oh, this is favoured, therefore they will win.
Yeah.
But when it's Zoo versus Shadowwalk and Shadowwalk versus Zoo, it's pretty fair to say it should be won all over the next two games. But if Django can get that 2-0 lead by just taking this down with the Zoo, which I think personally is favoured.
It's pretty close.
To pick one.
I think that's what people are starting to realise, in that Shadowwalk Shaman is still a very good deck at the moment, is that it's just still good against those aggressive decks.
Yeah.
It's been starting to fall off a little bit because of how popular Quest Rogue is, I believe, on ladder, and Shadowwalk Shaman is blooming awful versus Quest Rogue. It just does not win, really, because it's too slow. But for Django here on the Zoo, he could run into a little spot of bother, I think, if he hadn't got Soul Infusion into Chain Gang.
Yeah, and this is why I would say this is basically a 50-50 matchup. Zoo is an aggressive deck, but sometimes Zoo just does that thing where you can't beat it. I'm not saying this is one of those times.
It does do that thing.
It's got normal aggressive deck mode, and then maybe 10% of the time it just goes, I've won and you've lost.
You haven't watched The Legend of Korra, have you?
No.
Because there's this character who has an assistant called Zhu Li, and his catchphrase is, he says, Zhu Li, do the thing. And so her name is almost like Zhu.
Right.
And so he's like, Zhu Li, do the thing.
I see, so I made an actual
You made a very
reference without knowing
reference to a pop culture thing, which is not something you oft do. I know there's like a few people in chat who are like, yeah, Varric, we love that guy. He's the character who says the thing.
Okay, could you tell me about these sort of things off camera so I could appear clever just for once in my life?
What, because you might say Zoo does the thing?
No, you tell me to say it.
Oh, right, okay.
Just tell me all the possible references of all of pop culture ever.
Every pop culture reference.
And then I'll be fine.
What, there can't be more than like 7, right?
Yeah, million.
Got him.
Just sit down with me one afternoon, just go through them one at a time.
We'd have to start with real basic stuff. Like, all right, so there's this guy called Darth Vader, right? He's Luke's dad. Basically, spoiler alert, everyone.
Still out of the cinema, I know that one.
Okay.
My mum fell asleep. And Yala here, just obviously just going to try and contain the board for as much as possible. But this chain gang from Bulgaria is going to force out early removal. If you force out early removal for Shaman before you've even played your happy ghouls, you get a chance for a second reload if you can actually draw them.
Yes, and we've been joking around a little bit in the first couple turns because it's been fairly standard for both of these players. Czech Republic just curving out here with hero power and their Glacial Shard, and for Django setting up that chain gang with the Soul Infusion is pretty fantastic in this matchup. It's a little bit slower than Soul Infusion on Doubling Imp, which on this turn would have been insane. But it's still a respectable hand to be moving forwards with, a little bit of damage to start going forward.
And this was an interesting turn in its own right. Bulgaria realising their first push, even though it looks really good, is super weak to Volcano.
It is.
And so instead of going wide now and then just making this monstrous board, they're tapping already to make sure their reload turn is actually a bit more dangerous than just a Voodoo Doctor.
I like that. They do, I mean, that's the thing. When you have enough stuff in hand to develop the board, you don't want to throw everything out. You want to make sure you can refuel afterwards, which is clearly what they're doing, trying to find Keleseth, Fungalmancer, Happy Ghoul, I guess, maybe a Doomguard, to actually really ramp up the amount of damage going face.
I'm a little bit naive when I play Zoo, but I feel that a 0-mana healing rain is a thing that often catches me out. You don't expect the old healing rain into Lightning Storm on turn 7 or 8, and then they play something good to occupy the board as well. This could be a real nuisance for them. Anytime you farsight into something that can just be used for 0 mana, it can be terrifying.
Yeah, it's just why it's such a powerful card. We've learned that in Hearthstone, kind of banking your mana, saving it up for a following turn, is insanely powerful through the use of Skull of the Manari, Twig of the World Tree, Farsight, whatever else. It's just an incredibly powerful effect.
Yeah, swing turns have become more and more useful in the last year, and I think that's been very good for the game.
I agree.
Gone are the days where you just slowly steamroll this game.
Or even Soul Infusion, that's another way where you can spend mana now for a benefit on a later turn. Like we're seeing here, Bulgaria, they missed out on mana earlier on effectively by playing the Soul Infusion, and now if they want to, get to develop 10 health worth of stats onto the board here with a big old chain gang.
They don't want to do this, but they know it's so good. Sometimes, so there's two things in Hearthstone, isn't there? There's what do we play around, and then there's is it so good that if they kill it, that's just life, we've got to go for it.
Well, yeah, this is the thing to analyse here, isn't it? Is that if Django is not met immediately with a Volcano, Fungalmancer, and you just hit them for so much damage that they probably can't recover. And if they do have the Volcano in the worst case scenario, or I suppose Mind Control Tech actually is the worst case scenario, checking if Czech Republic have it, which they do, 2 copies of Mind Control Tech. So I guess that was probably a big consideration as well, is do we play into the Mind Control Tech?
But half the time that would be garbage. Just
yes,
fire
exactly.
that thing away and just hit them.
The upside is so absurd in being able to go Fungalmancer on a wide board, so I think this is definitely the way to go for Django.
Bulgaria not been rewarded very much here with that early tap. I mean, they will be, because every card they draw is a card they wouldn't have had, but they wanted to reload for this turn, and as it happens, their hand is not really a reloady sort of hand right now. You do have one more card to pick up. And Yarlo, on the other hand, this is his one removal spell. If he coins Volcano, there'll be some reload for Bulgaria, and the next one he does nothing.
Yeah. So Czech Republic clearly wondering here, is there a world where we can get away with not going coin Volcano on this turn? And they're saying, it's this one. We're just throwing down a chain gang to try and fight back, because the chances of your opponent being able to put so much extra health on the board that they survive against a Volcano is very low. However, I think Django with a Fungal Enchanter and a double attack for value trades with his chain gangs against the opposing chain gangs can just about put enough health to survive the Volcano. Because
yeah,
just Fungal Enchanter...
Void Walker as well for an extra 3.
Yeah. So Fungal Enchanter gets it up to, I believe, 16 health on the board. And then Void Walker brings it up to 19. Could even be a Voodoo Doctor for up to 20, which means both of these 4/5s probably survive with a relatively low health total.
Yeah, it's a tricky turn from where he sat, because if he plays Fungalmancer and just trades, hit face for 8,
yeah,
that is susceptible to the Volcano, but then his reload is so much nicer on the next turn. I keep on about these reloads, but phase of the game. But it is looking to the point where they've got one now. I like your play, but that's because I can see the hands.
Yeah.
I know which one they're playing around. They've got to play around Mind Control Tech, they've got to play around Lightning Storm, they've got to play around Electra into Lightning Storm.
And they also have to think, if my opponent has a Volcano, why wouldn't they throw it down on this turn? Why would they go chain gang first to allow us to go for this play, as they're clearly going for? This is now, I think, 19 health on the board now for Bulgaria, which means the Volcano does not do enough unless we see coin Earthshock as well, which would bump off down to 2-3 health on the board. So in the likely scenario then, there's a 4-1 on the board.
That's almost certain. It would be a 4. Not almost certain, but it's very likely a 4-1. Each extra point of health makes a massive difference in Volcano maths.
And so if that was the play from Yarla, he could go coin Earthshock Volcano. Next turn he would have 4 mana, which is just a Life Drinker. Seems like a pretty decent play, right?
Yeah. It is, but only because they're in such a mess. I mean, there's no better play. I think pretty decent play is a relative term. It's all they've got.
They can afford to chunk that damage, though, because they have the 0-mana Healing Rain. Even if they're met with a Doomguard Soulfire on this turn, in the worst case scenario in terms of damage to face, they could just go Life Drinker Healing Rain.
Right, here it goes. Let's see if the 4-1 does stand up, or if it's going to be a 3-1 somewhere along the line.
There we go. The math does not lie. Sorry, Mathis.
Yeah, don't become American just because you've been over there with your new mates. Voodoo Doctor Fungalmancer seems like an obvious-looking turn. Soul Infusion is irritating. It's good, but it's irritating because they want to empty their hand of this Soul Fire sooner rather than later. But this Fungalmancer play just seems too straightforward for words.
Oh yes, you are not even that weak to Lightning Storm anymore, because it would have to be... Well, there's no way it could really clear off the Saronite Chain Gang without a little bit of help as well. And it does mean you're demanding an answer from your opponent, lest you hit them for 12 damage next turn, which just completely cancels out the Healing Rain.
Yeah, I like the 0-mana Healing Rain, they'll get it over with.
Yeah.
What do you do with the other mana? Do you occupy the board with a Life Drinker that just gets killed, or do you play the Mana Tide Totem, which also just gets killed, but effectively heals you for 3 and draws you another card?
So you're losing 3 health gain effectively, because Life Drinker has the actual heal effect as well as the trade. They wouldn't necessarily even attack into it though, right? Django might just risk it and push everything face. He would then be very vulnerable to trade Lightning Storm. So these next couple turns, seemingly obvious, but pretty difficult and very consequential.
One of the things about the Life Drinker as well is we're getting towards 9 mana. You don't win this with Shudderwock combo, you just win it by stopping them from killing you.
A big Shudderwock, yep.
So having a Life Drinker into that Shudderwock pool is relevant. It's only 3 healing, but it's still something that allows you maybe to buy time for your Shudderwock. Going to need some Glacial Shards or something to make that worthwhile, though.
Yes. Mind Control Techs in the pool, Glacial Shards in the pool, whatever. That sounds like either a setup for a Shudderwock or the world's best party. Or maybe the
just
world's
everybody's
worst
in the pool.
Yeah, Glacial Shards in the pool, and then no one else can really jump in because they just freeze it.
Yeah, that would be a pretty bad party.
Yeah. Mind Control Techs in the pool. Let's be honest, someone's calling the police.
Wow. Well, the only question here is whether they're playing Soul Infusion, Void Walker, and then Soul Firing before they tap.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Because if you get, if you tap and get Doubling Imp, then you can go, brilliant, play Void Walker, then play Soul Infusion, and you get 2 4/4s.
2 double aiming, whatever I just said, and 1 Chain Gang in there. So it's a 1 in 6 chance of getting something tasty.
Just taking the fact that, you know, a 3/5 taunt is still very respectable here. It doesn't die to Lightning Storm, doesn't even die to Spell Power Lightning Storm.
I think they tapped into healing here. Yeah. And that's really relevant because they had 15 health exactly on the board before this. Now they have more than 15.
I think it's 18 now, right? It was exactly 15. Oof. Which makes a big old difference against the Volcano. There is no Volcano, however, so Czech Republic has to go for Farsight to look for MCT and try and hit the Chain Gang.
They can also Healing Rain into Farsight, but that doesn't into Mana Tide, but that doesn't deal with the problem. The problem is you are getting hit by a lot of demony things.
I think you've got to be optimistic here with the Farsight.
Yeah. We've seen this play work multiple times in this tournament. It doesn't cost you any mana if you draw the right card.
Yep. If you get a Glacial Shard there, however, you're pretty sad.
I mean, even Volcano's not that bad here a lot of the time.
Clears up a lot of damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would probably leave 9 health on the 9 damage on the board.
That's what I would go with. You might get lucky and kill the 3/5 as well.
Yeah.
Nobody, Aristotle keeps daring me to do the Volcano math, saying he's not going to. But honestly, it is messy. But it does.
Ooh, that is what you are looking for Yala. It's not the best case scenario, obviously, but just being able to stem the bleeding for a moment and go for the Mana Tide Totem to try and find Lightning Storm, Mind Control Tech maybe. Grumble isn't really it. You're trying to find a Volcano, and Fungalmancer is definitely it. That is the kind of card that Bulgaria is looking for. Oh my goodness.
Their positioning's a little bit awkward now.
Yeah, I'll agree. I
don't think it's going to matter, but it's
not even that bad, is it? Like, they can just trade in... Yeah, it's not perfect, because they don't even want to damage the higher health minions, because then they're weaker to a Lightning Storm. They want to trade off the lower health ones.
Yeah.
And shore themselves up against a Volcano.
So ideally you have the 2/1 next to the Fungalmancer, but...
Yes,
you know,
I agree.
They had about 2 seconds on the rope when they tapped into that, and they just plopped it in the easiest place and healed, and that's fair enough.
Better than not playing it at all.
Yeah, exactly, and that's something we see from more experienced players. Like, okay, it's best to make a small, tiny, almost insignificant mistake than to just have a 2/1 in your hand going, I can't do anything. How could you plan for this in 2 seconds? Because there's plenty of other positions where you'd want the positioning to be different.
Yeah, and so attacking in here with the Voidwalker, not perfect, a little bit more vulnerable to a Lightning Storm, but I guess they're saying if you do have Lightning Storm, brilliant. You're still losing this game of Hearthstone.
And I think more and more players are finally taking my amazing advice, because I'm sure that's why, and playing Doom Guards. There's 2 Doom Guards in this deck for Django as well.
We did see Leroy for a victory in the first series of the day,
No, we didn't.
didn't we?
That was in Paladin. You can't play Doom Guard in Paladin.
And there we go. Django takes the victory. Big old fist bump there for him as Bulgaria go up 2-0 against the reigning Global Games champions in the Czech Republic. Now just 1 game away from knocking them out of the Global Games.
And no wonder he's excited, but he needs to curb his enthusiasm there, because otherwise he could just get ahead of himself.
Yes, and we wouldn't want that. We want to see cool, calm and collected play, because for the Bulgarians, they are not the most accomplished team, I think it's fair to say, here in the Global Games. So as long as they're playing at their best, they definitely have a shot, but they do need to be at maximum concentration and not getting ahead of themselves.
Indeed. So game number 3 is on the way, and as we have discussed at length, it is going to be, as you can see there, the reverse of what we just saw, Zoo versus Shudderwock. And it is not the aforementioned foregone conclusion. Does that work? Yeah, it does now.
More or less. I get what you're going for.
That we were talking about, and if Bulgaria can get it done with this Shudderwock, they don't have to go through the pain of these last 2 games.
Yes, but Czech Republic, like you said, will definitely be hoping it is actually a mirror of the last series. Flips right around so the Zoo wins once again. I don't believe there's all too much different between these Shudderwock Shaman lists. There's still Keleseth for Bulgaria, they're still playing double mind control tech, both just pretty standard current lists.
Yep, so people should know what they're doing. I mean, they know what they're doing, but nothing like when we see Cthulhu Warrior suddenly matched up against your Druid, and you're like, I don't know what to do, help! You just get on with what you know and do it the best you can.
Well, I think in that example, it's Druid, so it's kind of a moot point because you draw Wild Growth and Nourish and play UI.
And work it out from there.
Exactly.
When you have 10 mana versus 3.
You can figure out on the fly. But for this matchup, do you think there's anything that the Zoo should be looking for more heavily than what they found? I think one of the biggest dichotomies we're seeing in Zoo at the moment is the argument for Soul Infusion starting hands versus Keleseth starting hands versus Happy Ghoul starting hand. So I guess there's 3 main things you're trying to go for. You're trying to draw Keleseth, draw Soul Infusion to go on a doubling imp or a chain gang, or you're trying to go for Happy Ghoul starts. Is there one that's most important in this matchup?
For me, I think we saw it there when we saw the tap on turn 3 into not hurrying. Keleseth is the not hurry card.
Yeah.
This is the card that's influencing turn after turn after turn throughout the game. I like the other 2 as well, but if your Happy Ghoul start just gets Wrath of Air Totem into Lightning Stormed away, you lose.
Yeah.
Because you haven't got any cards.
Yes, I totally agree.
The rumbling effect of Keleseth, I think, is probably the one I like most. But they're all good.
They are all very good. That's why Zoo is constructed this way. Less buff cards, more explosive cards, I think it's fair to say. But Happy Ghoul, I find, is much more for the tempo matchups, like against Odd Rogue.
Yeah, you just win against Odd Rogue. You just win. Spew things onto the board like that.
Exactly. Just unreactive decks don't have the answer. But Shudderwock Shaman is a very reactive deck, as we saw. Couldn't really get ahead on the board and was relying on drawing those Volcanoes, Lightning Storms, which it did not really find throughout the course of this game. So I guess while we've been talking about what the Zoo is looking for, I guess the onus is maybe a little bit more on the Shudderwock Shaman here for Silent Storm, just to be able to get those answers as quick as he can.
And already a decision with the Hagatha, I would say. It's a very late game theme. We've seen the Zoo doesn't sort of stomp you on turn 3 like some other decks.
I think you worry about the late game when you get to it.
If you get there.
Yes, sure. Because the immediate is much more pressing, because you can sit there with a Hagatha in hand as you get slapped about the head with a Happy Ghoul, wondering why, oh why.
And all of these cards are good, but none of them are what you... I mean, Samonite Chain Gang you have to keep. It's a blocker. It advances your actual win condition.
Yeah.
Or do you have to keep... You don't have to. 2/3s aren't that great against Zoo.
Yeah.
I think you do keep it because it's multi-purpose.
Yeah, like you said, it advances your win condition, is a play on the board, and also it makes your removal a lot better, because if you're facing down slightly bigger minions, like a Soul Infusioned doubling imp or a big Fungal Mancer board, you want to be able to soften them up with your chain gangs, then you hit them with the Lightning Storm to clear up the board.
But by throwing it all away, they have managed to pick up a hand that looks really tasty with all this removal in it.
Yeah, a lot more like it.
And the second Lightning Storm is the card that would have been on top of their deck, and so on. We're going to be one card different if they kept the Chain Gang.
Yeah.
And how does the Zoo progress against this?
Well, I think for the moment, like you said, they're fairly happy to take it kind of slow. It's not even necessarily a foregone conclusion that they will play Flame Imp next turn, even though I do expect it, because it's a nice trade against Acolyte of Pain and Mana Tide Totem. But they are going to be tapping, I think, a fair amount in this game after they go for a very explosive start such as this one. With the Happy Ghouls and the Fungal Enchanters, they will be slowing down a bit, I think, after they inevitably go for double Flame Imp on this turn.
Yeah, a little bit terrifying for the Czech Republic, though. This is that hand we were talking about, that if you do just plonk everything on the board, you can lose all of your stuff very early and never recover. Cards like Hex become so much better if the Zoo is low on cards.
No, you put these cards in your deck to play them, Lorinda, so you're playing them.
I didn't put them in the deck.
Okay,
Put them in the
Pokravac put these Flame Imps in his deck to play these Flame Imps from his deck. So he's just playing them.
Interesting here, if you roll a totem, your opponent pretty much has to deal with it, unless it's a healing totem.
Yes, even then they might have to, because they want to lower the odds of a spell power being rolled on the next hero power.
If it's a 1-1, obviously you don't want it trading into your 2-1, so you might protect your board. If it's spell damage, obviously you deal with it.
Yeah.
But they're just going to deal with this lot straight away. They're not going to muck about rolling totems and taking loads of damage.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy play for Bulgaria. They're just taking way too much damage on the following turn. And for Pokravac, if there wasn't a answer there in the Lightning Storm, Pokravac could just not develop. He could just tap every turn to refill his hand, quite happily hit his opponent for 8 every single turn, on turn 2, might I add. And then eventually, once there is a board clear, he would then follow up with the development.
Another thing that happens here for Bulgaria is, with that Lightning Storm, Czech Republic will be a lot more inclined on a full mulligan hand to think there isn't another one.
True.
So they may just walk into Lightning Storm number 2, or, as we see there, Volcano's going to get it done. This damage isn't coming in that quickly just yet. When Derek moves, it's always interesting.
Well, no, it's just a weird turn here for Pokravac, because you can't really play Solarium here. Like, if you have to get like 2 1-mana cards to really make it worth it. So do you just go doubling Imp here and then pass the turn? You want to be tapping here.
Maybe they do smell the second Lightning Storm. Maybe coin Lightning Storm is just a little bit suspicious and not greedy enough.
That's very true.
In which case you Solarium and try and find yourself a buff for your doubling Imp and just drop what you can on the board as a waiting turn.
Yeah.
Because if they do play the doubling Imp, they're walking into Lightning Storm, Earthshock, and everything falls apart.
So if you go Solarium and you hit like one of the worst case scenarios where you get a bunch of 5-drops, it's bad.
Your life.
It's bad, but you can still go doubling. You can still follow up with something. I agree it's not worth playing it here. Maybe it's not quite so bad as first meets the eye.
Yeah, it's worth thinking about.
Worth
for
thinking
sure, and I'm pretty sure they did think about it. Because if they get any healing, they could have just dropped the Happy Ghoul as well. So,
but I mean, if you go for the Solarium and you do hit 2 1-drops or 3 1-drops, in the best case scenario, you hit 3 1-drops. So what? Is that much better than a doubling Imp? You may as well just throw this down here and then save the Solarium to try and find Doom Guards, Fungal Mancers, stuff like that later on.
Yeah, the downside is you haven't got a Solarium anymore if you play the other way.
Yeah.
Decision time for Silent Storm, because if you can wait 1 turn here and Volcano things away next turn, then he has Lightning Storm the turn after, because that's how the overload works. But if he Lightning Storms now, he walks into a reload. There's only 10 on the board. There'll be 16 on the board
with a Fungal Mancer.
Is the number they're counting up right now.
And so Life Drinker counteracts that perfectly. You take your damage on this turn, which would be 6, 10, 14 with a Fungal Mancer, which is quite a lot when you don't have a Healing Rain in hand. And I think that's the decision they've come to, isn't it?
It's funny how sometimes it's good to be greedy with your removal, other times just kill everything. And that's what they're going to do. And now what you're going to do, unless you've got Solarium in your hand.
And even then, like you say, sometimes it's good to do this. This isn't necessarily good, what Silent Storm is doing. It's the decision that they've made. Maybe on that turn, taking the the potential 14 damage, but very possibly just 10 damage, was the right play to go for.
Solarium, a bit of a panic now, really, because this is what we're talking about with the Keleseth. No Keleseth played, obviously, because they didn't draw it, or they would have.
Yep.
This is the Happy Ghoul all-in start, and this is how these often end up. It feels great until all your things are blown up.
Yeah, and then you're just doing a whole lot of nothing for the moment. I guess Pokravac has to play Chain Gang?
And he's thinking about tapping and playing the two other things.
Yeah.
That's no fun,
That does fit in a tap, doesn't it? How much would you rather play 2 2-3s and not draw a card, or a 1-3, a 1-2, and draw a card?
And not a huge amount in that.
Yeah.
That's why they think. I think you do play the Chain Gang. That is my instinct here. Because you're not. Does the card you draw help you much with Doomguard in your hand anyway?
That's true. Yeah, I guess they just want to dump their hand for Doomguard, don't they? Because if they draw Voodoo Doctor next turn off the top, brilliant. You just dump your entire hand and smack them for $1 million.
And then just get Volcanoed.
Yes, but...
But they don't know that,
at this point, like Pokravac, if they're up against a hand that has both Lightning Storms, both Volcanoes, and a Chain Gang that we see here as well...
Get Shudderwocked.
Yeah, like, you have to just hope that that isn't there, because this is the best scenario for Bulgaria.
And that's with a full mulligan as well. They know that Bulgaria is just ripping everything off the top!
Oh my god, that's so good! So will Czech Republic go for... obviously I'm looking at here, you either Doomguard or you Soulfire Doomguard. They could just take the 50-50 to be very happy or to be very sad.
How happy would they be if they Soulfire face 18? Well, they're pretty happy.
Pretty happy.
Yeah.
And if they miss and discard the Doomguard, they could then go tap Happy Ghoul.
This is so similar to the old RDU play from a long time ago, which took Noblord like 3 weeks to work out straight afterwards. He kept streaming until he worked it out. It was about 90 minutes, I think.
Oh, well.
This sort of decision, whether to Soulfire or not. And of course, it's a 50-50. When it went wrong, everyone's like, of course it was wrong.
Yeah. Oh, but if it goes right, you're so happy. It's such a tough choice. Because if they knew their opponent's hand, I think they would be taking the risks because they're in such a bad spot. They're going
on the line and they get it.
Oh. With that Doomguard coming down, it gives Pokravac a real chance to stay in this game. It demands a removal from his opponent right now, lest he just lose the game. We can see it's there. The Volcano is just ready to be insta-slammed down by Bulgaria and put Czech Republic in a position where maybe they can't pull this back.
It's plays like that, though, where tournament experience is so huge. They're the plays we both felt it was right.
Yeah.
But when you're sat there, and if you lose, you're out of the tournament, it's so much harder than just getting on with it.
I think, however, the difference there was if they lost, they weren't necessarily out of the tournament because they still got to tap, they still got to play a 3-3. I'm not denying it's a lot worse because clearly it is.
Yeah.
But it's not over. It's not like a 50-50 to win the game with a Ragnaros shot.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
And now for Bulgaria, they know they're not dying to double Soulfire lethal because one has already been found. Czech Republic is only playing one Life Drinker, so they won't even be dying to Life Drinker tap Soulfire on the following turn.
And next turn they've got Hagatha.
Yep. So Chain Gang on this turn, trade into the 3-3.
Yep,
looks like a pretty simple play to me.
This is like if you gave a totally new player who maybe has some card game experience these situations, they'd make exactly all these plays. It's like, I'm going to kill all their things. I'm going to kill all their things again. Oh, I'm going to heal up and not die.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes the basic stuff is just correct.
Yeah, I think if they maybe had one less piece of removal, like if they hadn't drawn both Lightning Storms and both Volcanoes, they might have been forced to be a little bit more conservative.
And it's not over yet. There's no healing still available. I mean, yeah, you're doing this whole...
Yeah. It's not over. You're right. It's not over yet.
You know, another Doomguard could just put a bit of a span in the work. But the last Volcano is... It's kind of over, but it's not quite.
Well, what if they go Keleseth, 1-drop, tap Doomguard next turn?
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, there's not enough mana for that. But if a big Keleseth play is made, say, next turn...
Yeah. I mean, I think
maybe Pokravac can pull this back.
But the other thing with Hagatha as well, the spells are really good against Zoo.
And that is a Soulfire, which brings Silent Storm down to 2 health points. But in terms of burst left in the deck, there's nothing that goes over the top of Taunts anymore. It's that's the second Soulfire. There's only one Life Drinker.
Yeah, there's a Doomguard that doesn't go over Taunts.
Doesn't go over Taunts. That is, however...
That goes through Taunts.
A pretty nice draw there for Czech Republic. That is the kind of thing they're going to need to draw to pull this game back. As Silent Storm can go for Hagatha this turn,
Yeah.
which I imagine is what he's going to be leading
Get
up
that
towards.
5 health, and also Hagatha spells are so good.
They're real good.
Against Zoo.
Yeah.
Because even the things like Fault Lightning and
Yeah.
Zap actually just have a purpose. Not so much now Kelliseth's been played, but... Well, I take an intake of breath every single turn.
He drew a 1-drop.
Because... because they will have the extra numbers on the bottom.
Yeah. Soul Infusion does not, however. It does allow Czech Republic to make a 4/5, a 1-mana Yeti, if you will.
And the meme play that casters love, because it makes them sound like they know something about Shudderwock, is probably going to happen next turn.
What?
Acolyte of Pain Volcano.
Oh. Fair enough. I think I even missed that last time I was casting a Shudderwock.
Yeah, I've started to not notice it because it's like so straightforward now.
Is it even the play that Silent Storm would go for?
Depends what he draws, I think.
Yeah.
He'll probably play the Acolyte of Pain and see what comes off it.
Yeah, Volcano's still really good. And it is his last board clear at this point, now that he's seen both Lightning Storms, Hagatha, and one other Volcano.
Yeah, it might not be good enough, but drawing 3 cards is also... Or drawing 4 cards, of course, Hagatha is really good. But I think you're right, probably don't bother.
Czech Republic all in here on getting more value out of the Soul Infusion, maybe for a bigger burst Doomguard, perhaps, to go for 8 damage to face.
And now they don't need to go for the Volcano,
Yep.
because they found the Healing Rain by natural means.
They might still do it, because healing 3 cards off Acolyte of Pain is really good. But I think because you can't develop anything outside of that in addition to it, sorry. Volcano's just too good later on. You really want that extra board clear.
You see the mess the Czech Republic are in here, not going for that Soul Infusion, too scared of Hex, looking for a doubling Imp number 2, etc.
Yeah, doubling Imp, Chain Gang, Doomguard, stuff like that is what Czech Republic is looking for to get that value off of the Soul Infusion.
Well, congratulations, Bulgaria.
It's still not over, because they're not really afraid of burst damage anyway. They're afraid of losing board control, aren't they? Healing Rain probably buys them a turn at least.
The problem is for Pokovac, he only has 9 cards left in his entire deck with which to inflict 35 damage.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit worrying.
So, they're still healing up on this turn. I'm glad they didn't go for the Grumble, because that might have led for them being dead to burst damage. It does, however, buff the attack. So if we saw Doomguard on this turn to buff with the Soul Infusion, and a Voodoo Doctor, would that be enough damage? That would be 8 and 6.
14. So that was definitely a slip there.
That was an out. That was an out.
Because we were talking about as well as I was going to heal, and the second the numbers changed, like, oh,
hold on,
he's just done that same thing we missed.
Yeah, I think playing a Healing Rain there might have been slightly more likely.
It's also possible
that
the discussion went, don't play Healing Rain, it buffs the Light Ward, and he goes, okay, I'll play this instead. Oh, oops.
Soul Infusion Doomguard is 6 mana, tap, and yeah. I think that would actually have been lethal just about. As crazy as it seems.
It might have been 7 and 6, which is only 13.
No, but the Doomguard's buffed by Kelliseth.
Oh, so, and it's another one. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're good at counting.
Thanks, buddy. It is still a fair amount of damage going through to face, however, with the Fungal Enchanter, and clearly here, the Soul Infusion, I think at this point, is just being kept for a little bit of extra burst, guaranteed through to face, which is 8 damage. Not going to happen, because there's double Healing Rain ready to come down, but I think there for Silent Storm, maybe just giving your opponent any chance to take it, as unlikely as it is, was not worth it.
Just making sure that Volcano actually gets this done.
Surely
sure it does. It must do. Yeah, there's hardly any health here.
Yeah. 5. Yeah. Surprisingly close, though. Yeah, still gets the job done. We could even see a Shudderwock now, actually, couldn't we, for...
I want a Volcano, I want a Healing Rain, and I want to just not ever make that mistake again.
Don't be fancy. Don't be fancy. Oh, no, wait, if they Healing Rained and don't clear off the Light Ward, they die, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So they would have to have gone for Volcano and Healing Rain. So I guess their play, if they didn't want to burn a Healing Rain, was probably worth it. Or if they didn't want to burn the Volcano, sorry.
Great way to kill yourself, just Healing Rain your opponent gets
That would have been stupid. Yeah.
That is what we were just talking about. So we are silly, but well spotted.
Make no mistake, I know how stupid I am.
The good thing is, you know how stupid I am as well, which means you can always cover for 2.
I know that well. I've got that tattooed across my face.
I even asked once, why can't we play Healing Rain in Warlock? I mean, apart from that, it's not a Warlock card.
Oh, right. I mean, I was going to say that's why you can't play it in
and then I thought, how about we play Light Warden in Zoo? In Shudderwock? and just
What?
go turn 1 Light 1, turn 2 Helium and just kill them.
Oh my god. You're actually melting my brain cells
Good.
right now.
I mean, the other two have been putting up with this all week.
Fair enough.
So that's why they've got melted brain cells.
But now, Czech Republic, one final hurrah for them trying to push forward a minion that can deliver lethal, but I just don't think they have enough stuff in their deck left to win this game. If it's not Shudderwock on this turn for a Hagatha effect, then it's what Grumble Life Drinker available to Bulgaria. Another Volcano, yeah.
Hagatha's really behaving for Bulgarian.
Yeah, I think just a slight spectator issue as well there for Bulgaria, but we'll get right back into it as quick as possible as the Life Drinker coming down, just heals them back up a little bit more. No Light Wardens on the board at this time, thank goodness. And this was just, like you said, Czech Republic getting Shudderwocked. Every single removal spell that Bulgaria could have wanted was there. Czech Republic didn't get a Keleseth quite early enough, I think. Just didn't come together.
And Blood Knight not going to get it done. Tapping into Chain Gang. We've seen 2, I think, already. And this is just going to be the final throws. I mean, the final throws were 2 turns ago. This is going to be the final throws.
Yeah, there is just nothing really in it left. And I hate to say it, but it does look to me like our reigning champions might have been knocked out from the Hearthstone Global Games as lethal damage with Shudderwock is just available on this turn. I'm sure it's all cheering and shouting for the Bulgarian team as they do tend to be somewhat exuberant. I believe throwing around a Bulgarian flag is their trademark at this point. But that does mean Czech Republic are out of the Hearthstone Global Games, and Bulgaria, I think, are pretty much guaranteed through to the top 16.
They're 5-1. They've done it the hard way. If they'd lost, they'd have been 4-2 and out on tiebreakers. Right. They have done it the hard way. And the Czech Republic were 3-0 in this event, I believe, early on. Looked like they were going to put up a storming defence of their title, but now it's over to Ukraine, who came second last time, to represent people in the final twice in a row, maybe.
Maybe. It's possible, and there's a lot of other teams who are doing very well last year, like USA as well, who are struggling at the start, creeping their way back in.
Yeah, they're knocking teams out as they go all the way along. Let's have a look at what we just saw. Not much to see here, I should think, but let's see how this went down.
Yeah, we were expecting this to go a little bit more evenly, I think it's fair to say. It was, a pretty mirrored series. Shudderwock Shaman versus Zoo on both sides, and then Control Priest versus Quest Rogue, miserable matchup for Bulgaria. OCK Inner Fire Priest for Czech Republic up against the Aggro Mage. I would imagine a pretty miserable matchup for Czech Republic as well, due to how aggressive that Aggro Mage is. But Bulgaria, I do somewhat question their play with the odd Paladin, I would say, as it didn't work out perfectly for them. But in the end, I think they had the right idea generally of just trying to kill off all their opponent stuff, take the value trades, and win the game just by kind of grinding them out of resources and getting a big level up.
Yeah, and it worked. They did still get that Fungal Manta onto something. They did still get that level up onto something. So even though maybe it didn't work out the way they wanted it to, it still worked out for them. So always interesting to go back and look at those exact decision points, because I agree with you. Maybe they could have used it more aggressively, but then it worked out. So,
Yeah, but I am happy to see Bulgaria going through. They're one of my favourite teams, I think it's fair to say, in the global games, just because they're so excited. You can tell how much it means to them. For the big teams, often, they maybe don't practice that much for the global games in light of playoffs and stuff like that. But we can tell for Bulgarians, it means a lot.
Let's go and see how much it means. We've got an interview with Django available. Django, congratulations, man. You've done it the hard way, and I'm sure you're willing to say how well you guys have done this time around.
Yeah, I mean, we were one of the countries that weren't secured to qualify with 4 wins. Like, just imagine how nice it would have been if Blizzard hadn't messed up the brackets and we qualified last week. Like, this week was so stressful. Like, it was literally in or out.
Yeah, it was literally in or out as well, the way the tiebreakers worked. But you are in, and gave you an extra chance to put out the reigning world champions. And so that must feel doubly sweet for you.
Yeah, like we had to beat the world champion to make it into top 16. So it feels really good now.
And is that something that you think affects your play? Like going up against the really big and well-accomplished teams, given that you are, I think it's fair to say, somewhat not as well known in the Hearthstone Global Games, does it kind of scare you guys, or is it all just business as usual?
Actually, no. I mean, if we want to win it all, like we have to face anyone, we have to beat everyone if we want to win it. So it doesn't matter who we face now or later.
And how's the team coming together? I know the first week or two, it was sort of Django trying to get everybody pulled together. Is the team forming up nicely now?
Yeah, now we are really a team.
Awesome. That's really good to hear, man.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'll let you go and celebrate in whatever manner you see fit, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time in that top 16. And you say you can beat anyone. You've beaten the world champions. Let's see who you beat next. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Have a nice one.
And you, man.
I do like Django.
I like Django.
He seems like
well.
a very lovely young man. He was one of the few people to reach out to me beforehand on Twitter, telling me a little bit about his story.
And that's, again, him doing that captain's role, letting everybody know what is going on. Let's recap how this went down in rapid fashion one more time. And this is the end of that Paladin game. Shame we couldn't see the very start a little bit more, but it'll be out there on the VOD.
Yes, it will. That was really the crucial turn there. As it always is in the odd Paladin mirrors, it's decided so early on, because as soon as you fall behind, you're not really coming back the majority of the time. And here we saw Jala just did not get the removal pieces he needed. That dominant board through 2 Fungal Mancers for Bulgaria being thrown down on 2 separate turns was just a little bit too much for Jala to fight back against. And as we're going to take a look at the final game as well, Django in that last game was just able to get... Bulgaria was able to get every single removal piece they wanted. No way for Pokravac to get the damage through, even though I think they made for this correct decision with the Doomguard to push the Soulfire first, because they had to get lucky. Still just wasn't there.
Was the option there for the mess up with the healing rain. They didn't walk into it, though. If they played it here, accidents could occur. Although they would have seen it and been able to Volcano anyway, I think.
Yes, I think they would have done. And that's like one of 2 mistakes people always make with Healing Rain. Like, on every stream, at least once, I've seen someone make a mistake with Healing Rain with Northshire Cleric. That's usually where it goes wrong, isn't it? You draw your opponent like 9 cards or something, and you're like, oh, brilliant. I guess I lose then.
What's the other one? Azalina after Florist.
Oh, yeah, you've got to be very careful.
Your opponent just makes 7 3/3s. You're like, this didn't work how I thought.
Yeah, Hearthstone's hard at the moment. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think it really is, and it's showing by the best players and best teams in general coming through. Czech Republic might have an argument with that one, but in general, they had a mirror match and then a mirror flipperoo, and they lost both of those. So Bulgaria rightly very happy.